Update. My wife called me to tell me she was going to sleep with a celebrity on a trip. But she came back to find the house empty and no kids. Part 3. Amy, but you are still not welcome here. Tell him I didn't do anything, and if he says I did, it will be trouble for him. Amy stormed off. She seemed angry. I said to Dad when he came back into the kitchen, be careful, son. I've seen that look, she is not going down easy. That woman is like a cat backed into a corner. She is going to lie and scratch her way out. I hope you can prove what she did, she looks ready for a fight. Amy gave me the silent treatment when the kids and I came home later in the day. I slept in the guest room again that night. There was no one pounding on the door that night. The kids left for school while I was still sitting at the kitchen table, sipping my coffee. I decided that it was time to confront Amy. She walked into the kitchen like she didn't have a care in the world. The kids get off okay? I nodded as she poured her coffee. Honey, why are you sleeping in the guest room? Are you feeling all right? You know why? I don't want to sleep near my cheating wife. Cheating wife? Mark, what are you talking about? She asked. So I guess you're going to deny that you had intimacy with a soap star while you were out of town last week? Mark, I don't know what you're up to, she turned, looking me in the eyes with an angry look. You accuse me of something you can't prove. I will make you pay dearly. You know you can't prove anything. There it is. You've declared war, I replied. No, I haven't. We can go back to the way things were, but that's up to you. I'm willing to forget your baseless accusations. Sorry, but I can't forget what you did, I replied. I'm going to say it again, I didn't do anything, and more importantly, you can't prove that I did. You will regret it if you try to say I did something. Let it go, and let's get on with our marriage. I knew a threat when I heard it. I didn't say anything, I just got up and walked to my car as if I was going to work. Having already called in sick, I drove down the street, waiting for Amy to head to her school, where she was an associate principal. Once she was gone, I went back into the house. Taking Amy's words to heart, I went looking for evidence. If this was going to be war, I wanted as much ammunition as I could get. Jenny had mentioned that Amy had gotten the soap star's autograph, something she couldn't display if she was going to deny her affair ever happened. I figured something like that would be too big of a trophy to get rid of, she would hide it. It took 2 hours of searching, but I finally found it. I found it. Amy had an old briefcase in the back of her side of the closet. It was locked, but she always used the same code for all her briefcases. At the bottom, buried under several folders, I found the picture. It was your standard publicity photo of the soap star. The signature was to my friend Amy, Joshua Marrow. On the back was another signature, you were great in bed, Joshua. I scanned the picture before putting it back where it was. The next stop was the lawyer. Before leaving, I put a copy of the scan, our prenup, the recording of Amy's friend's phone call, and my recording of Amy's confession on 2 flash drives. The lawyer I visited was well known for her ruthless attacks on cheating spouses. Vicky Sampson was known in the divorce world. I laid out my story about what Amy did. When I finished telling her the situation and how I wanted it to play out, she just sat back and smiled. I love this. You are evil. Set the trap and spring it when there is no turning back. You know it is going to be uncomfortable for you before we show the proof. Everyone is going to think you are lying or crazy. I know. I want her to think she has the upper hand till the very end. Mrs. Sampson shook my hand. I will get the paperwork ready and have her served at school. You need to do a couple of things for me first. Check your credit card bills, we need to find out the club where she hooked up with the soap star. Second, get access to her iCloud. I'm betting there is a selfie of her and Joshua. She is probably smart enough to get anything incriminating off of her phone and download it someplace safe. With some luck, a copy might still be on her cloud. Rushing home, I quickly got on her computer. I didn't even have to try to get into her iCloud. Hidden in her pictures folder were the 3 photos I was looking for, 2 of Amy and the soap star, and 1 with Amy, the soap star, and her friend Jenny. I copied the photos to a flash drive. A quick examination of the photos gave me the other item I needed. The name of the club was on the wall behind them. My lawyer was very pleased with my findings. She told me under no circumstances was I to tell anyone that we had the photos. Her plan was to serve Amy at school on Friday afternoon. That would give me time to get the kids to my parents for the weekend. She also told me that I was not to move out of the house, regardless of what Amy said or did. On that Friday, I had just dropped the kids off at my parents' house when my phone rang. It was Amy. I let it go to voicemail and ignored her texts. I wasn't home for 10 minutes when she stormed in. I was sitting in the living room and turned on the video camera when I heard the garage door rumble. I didn't want to miss any incriminating statements. You son of a blip. What the hell do you think you were doing? I started to answer, but she cut me off. You just couldn't let it go, could you? What is it, Mark? Is your little male ego damaged? You humiliated me in front of my staff, and you're going to pay. You want a divorce? I'll give it to you, but you are going to pay. You know you can't prove the adultery you put in the divorce, and without it, I'm going to take you for everything you have. I hope you're happy. You could have just let it go. Did it bruise your manhood that I had great intimacy with a celebrity? You could have just let me have a good time, but oh no. Well, heck you. Amy stomped around, all while I sat, not saying a word. She came back into the living room with fire in her eyes. When are you moving out? I'm not moving out. I'm staying right here, I replied. Oh no, you're not. You want a divorce? You have to move out. She looked at me for a few moments, expecting me to get up, but I just sat there, smiling. Fine. When this is over, you are going to wish you would have just shut your mouth and let us move on with our lives. The next month was very tense in the house. Amy and I didn't talk. The kids were slowly going to Amy's side. Julie was even questioning if her mother had, in fact, cheated. She was telling anyone who would listen that I made the whole thing up. Her lawyer filed a response to our petition, asking for sanctions for false claims. She even tried to get the court to order me out of the house, but that was denied. The court fast-tracked our hearing, with both sides getting limited time to take depositions and interviews of witnesses. My lawyer deposed both Amy and her friend Jenny. They both denied that Amy went off with the soap star and denied that they even met him or went to a club. Preparing for my deposition, my lawyer told me that it was imperative that I tell the truth but not volunteer any extra information. Her hope was that their lawyer wouldn't ask about the evidence we had gathered of Amy's affair, thinking we had none. Just as Mrs. Sampson predicted, they hammered on me for not witnessing any cheating by my wife but didn't ask about having any evidence of her cheating. I got the impression that he didn't know that she had actually done what I was accusing her of doing. At the actual court hearing, I'm sure Amy thought things were going great. I testified to Amy's adultery, giving the background of my feelings on adultery and my opposition to a hall pass. I was cross-examined on the same issues in the deposition. I wasn't present at her conference and didn't see her do anything with any other men. Amy testified that she didn't do anything, and like me, she was opposed to adultery and would never condone the concept of a hall pass. Amy's lawyer put Jenny on the stand to testify that the encounter with the soap star didn't take place. I looked over to her husband Jack, who was in the. You can click on share and more to see if there is a part 4.